So hello there, my name is Alexandre and I would like to make this video to talk about who I am. I want to talk about mindset, but more importantly, it's not who I am, but who I want to be. And I want to explain in depth in this video and analyze why I chose this mindset. First of all, I want to say this. My mindset is not made to harm anyone. My mindset has changed to the point where certain things used to offend me, that they don't offend me anymore, and certain things that didn't offend me, I'd even have thoughts about it, now can potentially affect me to my core. I don't know who is going to see this. I don't know if it's for my future self. I definitely don't want it to be public. I just think I need to speak up, and I don't see the point of talking to someone outside of people close to me or myself. I want to cover my weak points, my strong points, and also who I want to be. And that's the most important thing I want to say in this video, is who I want to be is something I defend. I feel that I don't want to talk about problems. I want to talk about mindset. And I would like to bring you into the world that is called the G mindset, and something which has helped me a lot. And I want to analyze it with you and give you an opportunity to see what I have seen. And maybe you might understand the truth of why I've changed so much and who I want to become. So I know this video, I don't know who's going to see this. I don't know if it's for my parents, my sister. I don't know if it's for my future self. I just feel I needed to talk and learn by talking, because if I listen and I never put into practice and I never give my own breakdown from my own mind, I don't think I can ever qualify to say that I have adopted what I consider the G mindset. Give my own breakdown so you can see the logic I give it and the importance it has. Later in my life, I would like to become a YouTuber. I would like to reach many different people. I would like to give out the best content possible. I would like to own an app. I would like to have and reach 100,000 users in an app that I own. I know I have it in me to do it. I do feel that along my life, I never fit in with anyone. I used to be exceptionally kind to people. I don't want to go into depth, but I have, and I still do, have a very lonely life. I am alone in many of the issues I talk about. Anything related to mental health, I keep it to myself. I mask and I pressurize it, and I put it in a corner, and I don't think about it, because it's only gonna become an obstacle in the things that need to be done. And to not go any further, I just want to say that that's my situation. I have had many people that I've brought in my circle that let me down, and friendship has become something which I have had to put distance on, like something which I call a true friend. I would lower my defenses and allow that person to have the power to positively affect me a lot, but also to negatively affect me without even them realizing. And with me, now that my mindset has changed towards the direction I will explain in this video, try and become efficient and not break down. And I have been, I think, from my own perspective, someone very emotional, someone who things that don't affect the general public do affect me a lot. When a teacher tells someone else off, that person laughs or it doesn't bother them. When I was in school and a teacher told me off, I wanted to cry. I let that person down. If my dad, for example, my dad is my boxing and bodybuilding coach. Without him, I wouldn't have entered the world of bodybuilding. I've entered the world of bodybuilding since I'm 8 years old, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've obviously learned a lot thanks to him too, and I've never let him down. If I was scared to go up against, I was 11 years old and I had to go up against a 18-year-old in the ring, to literally sign up to someone having to beat me up. My dad told me to, and I never forget this, don't show weakness. My dad has always told me to not show weakness, and whenever I didn't listen to this, that's when I got my ass whooped. Because in the ring, the fact that you are scared doesn't make your opponent punch you less or any lighter. The fact that you have things covering your mind and your thoughts and not having clear head, staying focused, that keeping that mindset of not showing weakness subconsciously gives less tasks and emotional burden for you to focus, and that helps me to keep a clear mind, and many things derive from fear and doubt and all these emotions which in my life have always pulled me down. I don't feel the need to be depressed anymore as I used to before adopting this mindset. I thought I could get an easy intro. I do think I need some support, and the support is right next to me. It's from my computer. I have some clips which I want to go through, and maybe this might change you, because it did change me for the better. Some things need to be sacrificed for others, and the gains are net gains, and you'll see why. Before I go any further, who I'm gonna start showing to you, and I don't want you to be scared. I don't want to say the name. You might recognize from the voice. I don't want to get, in case this video goes anywhere in future, I don't want to be related to him or that name in any way because of the media not liking this person. This person is actually, his first name is Emery. So Emery, I'm gonna refer to him as Emery, the G mindset of Emery, and you can search up who this person probably is. But this will give me a good bulletproof cover. I want to first say who this person is. So this person adopts and pushes the idea of masculinity, and not toxic masculinity. It's a very positive, beautiful way of seeing true masculinity. Is what I have been searching for, is what my dad taught me from a very young age, but now I don't have the same in terms of masculinity and mindset from my dad as I did when he was in his 70s. But now he is 86 years old and I don't receive the same coaching as I used to. And I think that deep down I want to fill that hole. Emery does it beautifully. He is a master at work. He is a very rich individual. He's made his money through a legal business. It's a very legal business, but many people, general public, considers it as a very dark business. I want to say how much I know Emery. So I have seen videos from him. I think more hours than I have seen every single Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece episode. In total, I've seen more hours of Emery on YouTube than I have of everything else. I know 90% of who he truly is. I'm obviously not living with him, but I can tell you these facts. Emery has documented his life since he was like 24, 25. He's been documenting his entire life from a very young age. He's had a guy that he pays, and that guy lives with Emery and his brother and just records what they do. So whether they have breakfast or everything is transparent. The only confidential things are things related to his girlfriends. He doesn't particularly, he like typically blurs them out. He doesn't want them to be seen by the public, and that's respectful. Emery is a guy who I've seen without his mask. I've seen his evolutions. I've seen his evolution. I've seen the mindset differences. I've listened to videos from him when he had $3 million in his bank, or euros. I've seen videos where he passed the 10 million in fortune, and others where he's obviously passed the 100 million in net worth. And right now, there's no real metric to which you can measure his wealth right now. You can just take my word and agree with me that he is extremely rich. He is a free man, and certain things I don't agree with him, as I don't agree with everything my dad says or my sister says. Certain things it's not part of my taste or my personality. If you're open to listen to what he has to say, you will conclude that he has an extremely advanced ability to give a diagnostic of a problem. He can chop down into a very simplistic way of seeing things, why certain things happen, and what are the potential solutions to those things. So now there's two things, solutions and diagnostics. He gives an excellent diagnostic of the issue. He can tell where the issue truly is, and he gets a lot of hate for that, because certain things aren't meant to be said. Certain things are just considered offensive, but he's made his brand by making people hate him, which making people talk about him, and those who are willing to make some research will find out the truth about who he truly is, and when he's trolling and when he's being completely serious. Has a very smart and in-depth analysis of situations in life, and also is a comedian about it. He sometimes says things which are funny, and there is dark humor, so he doesn't mean them truly, because as I can tell you, I've seen hundreds of hours of content of him vlogging, of his life, of how he acts, of when he's not at his best, when he's at his best, when he was very young. Throughout the years, there are going to be some hiccups. If you can pull out every single situation where I have had, like I was angry, everything I used to say in those angry situations, you can say I'm a demon or I'm just a bad guy. You could literally conclude that from these clips, as you could with, and as I probably could with you. I can't emphasize enough how much he has helped me out in a moment where I needed him the most, or at least needed the wisdom of his words, the analysis and diagnostics of problems in my life that I haven't even thought about. And you would think then that is probably brainwashing, because if you didn't think about it, you're probably just brainwashed into thinking that you have problems where there aren't problems. And obviously, I'm not dumb. If I was born in America or I was born in China, I would have completely different beliefs. I would have completely different viewpoints and perspectives, if I was Russian or French, my beliefs would be completely different. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about what I would have learned in school, what generally how you view the world, and what is masculinity in essence. Very different religions and cultures. He's brought them together to at least agree with what he says. Why is that? Because eventually you will find out that what he says is true and is a harsh truth. Whenever I go, for example, in the ring against someone who is clearly bigger and stronger than me saying that he might beat me is a hard truth. Am I going to give up? No, but it's a hard truth. It's something which is happening, and being aware of it is going to allow you to come and follow up with a solution to confront it and be prepared to win. So in this passage, so Emery is going to speak about time consumption. How much time do you waste, or how much time do you use efficiently? Now, I don't know about you. If I dedicated every single waking minute of my life sleeping, eating just enough, and working for an end goal. Let's say my end goal in my situation is having an app with 100,000 users in it. If that is the end goal, and it takes me probably 1 decade to make, so 10 years, let's say, what if I adopted a mindset where I don't waste time? And you can obviously tell this is something that my mom tells me, my dad tells me, something that everyone has been told since a kid. However, it's never really made an impact on me. I never really thought about it, because I always wanted that quick dopamine, short-term fun, and things that will inevitably be forgotten and only used as wastes and obstacles along the timeline of my development of this objective. I am guilty of being someone who procrastinates a lot. I have this weakness, and I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to talk about my weaknesses. I do have this weakness where I waste time, and I don't like it. I'm aware of it. Is it stronger than me? It used to be much, much stronger than it is now. It's still there. It's still present. That's the point. Emery explains to me and opens the idea to me, always on loop, justifies it and relates it to my situation specifically. I feel like if he's talking to me, and maybe you can't relate to what he's going to say, but I feel that he relates to me. And the way he says it, who he truly is, I don't have anyone in my surrounding who is where I want to be telling me to lock in and not waste time and only focus. People who have told me this are people like Elon Musk, people like Trump in certain motivational videos. Emery states this in a very applicable way. When I listen to this, it not only motivates me, it changes my perspective, it amplifies my discipline and seals it, engraves it in my core and becomes part of me. I want this part of not wasting time to become part of me. So let's listen to it.
There's a version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question, you at home. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training, you were training every single day. You never slept in, you were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you, and the only thing that's stopping you from being that person.
So he did speak about many things. It's very hard for me to improve what he says because it's already the best way possible to bring out an idea. And obviously this is, you can tell the speed he's speaking at, the tonality. It's a very guru way of speaking, but it's it pierces inside my brain as something that will just stay there. It just, you can tell he's speaking with passion. So that's apart from the point. Laziness is so strong. My laziness has been so dominant, and I have tried to obliterate it from my reality. And it's still there because that's how strong it is. And I'll explain later why that is there and why it wouldn't be there if I was in other situations. But he did say that, what if I trained every single day? What if I did? Adopting this mindset has been part of why I have the body I have today. It's one of the reasons. It's not all of the reasons, because I've been put in the world of bodybuilding from a very young age, from 8 years old, to be precise, and along with my dad. So it's something which is sacred to me. But also understanding that it improves my own existence, the way that he explained it to me.
You never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time.
So he said, imagine if you never played video games. I have spent so much time in video games that will have and will bring me nowhere. Yeah, it's fun. It's quick dopamine. It's extremely addictive, and it's extremely time consuming. I have always found ways to not do work, and just imagine if I hadn't played video games, if I locked in. The best version of me is the version of me that does not play video games, that does not waste time, and does not create excuses to not go to the gym and become the best version of myself.
Existence. That person is waiting for you, and the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant.
So he's never seen someone try with all of their might and not get it. Do you imagine that? I never thought it that way. I was so lost. I was like, I'm not gonna achieve this. I was in school getting inferior grades than everyone else. I was struggling. I started school with pronounced dyslexia. I couldn't write properly. I couldn't read properly. I couldn't do multiplications properly. I was bad at maths. I was bad at literature, and I was bad at science. So I was bad the entire sphere. And seeing how climbing in the year groups, and I was still being left behind, and seeing that every single day being last of class. I sometimes studied very well and I still failed. I passed the exam, but I considered myself a failure because many people were just better than me by doing much less. You're talking about brainwash. I was brainwashed into not believing in myself because of so much failures from comparing myself with people. And you're going to say, you shouldn't compare yourself. You try and be last of class since you're a child until you're 18, and you tell me how that feels. If that does not influence or dictate your future self or your confidence in yourself, nothing will then. But that's not reality. You would get affected by it just as much as me. And what he says there, he's never met someone who hasn't tried to achieve something with all of their might and not get it. Means that if I, with my project, try with all of my might, I will get it. It becomes common sense. And adopting this mindset, it's the complete opposite of what I used to have. Because I was having a very destructive mindset, which was part of my reality. But it's not part of the real world as a whole. Because if you really tried, Emery explains it in a way that this is what I choose. I prefer to have this as my programming than the programming I was given in school, unintentionally by the system, but nevertheless very real and very destructive.
Extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you, and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things, and he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families.
So you can hear from that he's saying that you're rejecting your true self. And this means that me not adopting the idea that if I try something with all of my might, I can achieve everything if I try with all of my might. Me rejecting that idea is me going against myself. And that is true. It felt like he was talking to me because I didn't believe that. That is an extremely way of saying it. Is it cult-like thinking, but it's very effective.
From advantaged beginnings, but I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be. Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going?
If you can't force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how will you achieve greatness? It's all he knew when he was broke, to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. So he had to be strong, physically capable of violence. So like Superman. Superman is very strong. Doesn't mean he's going to go there and attack people on the street. He's just a very strong man. He's capable of violence. A masculine man has a good physique. He has a very strong frame. Billionaires, just an exaggerated way of saying become very rich and financially free. Or goes into one. Many of the issues that he's gone through and that I've gone through, I know that in future they can all be avoided if I reach being a big, strong, fighting billionaire. It's a very interesting way of putting things.
To put yourself through the suffering required for greatness. If you cannot force yourself to train when you...
Suffering required for greatness. You need to suffer to become great. And I've never been told this. My dad has told me to not show weakness. It's very different. My dad has never told me you need to suffer. Because my project has been to, and I'm talking about my project because that's realistically the main thing that matters to me right now. It's the one thing that will change my life for the best in future. So I need to adopt a mindset which orbits around the project itself.
Put yourself through the suffering required for greatness. If you cannot force yourself to train when you do not want to train, if you cannot force yourself to work when you don't want to work, if you can't force yourself to not log into Pornhub or force yourself to eat right, how can you possibly ever become a monumentally successful person if you cannot control yourself long enough to do what must be done as opposed to what you feel like doing? The only people who...
So control yourself and don't do what you feel like doing. Obviously, I feel like watching TV and being at home and wasting time. And he says, control yourself and go become the best version of yourself. In this case, physically. In this case, revolving around going to the gym. And what is the main goal? To have a strong body. And a strong body is a strong mind. To the moment you will understand this is the moment you achieve it. If you think you're tough in your mind, try and do my workout for 3 years and you will become unbeatable. You will have that appearance of someone who is disciplined and having something which can't be bought. If you do it naturally and you stick to the schedule, go to the gym, you become very big, very strong, obviously your mind will become a completely different person. You will become less insecure. You will walk around the world like you mean business, but not in a violent way. You become very confident, and it highlights and it allows you to highlight your true personality.
People who get to live their lives based on how they feel are women and children. Children can cry because they feel like crying, as can a woman. A woman can start an argument because she feels like arguing, as can a child. A man must do what he is supposed to do irregardless of how he feels. That is the key component to masculinity, is discipline.
A man is supposed to do what's supposed to be done irregardless of how he feels. It's so powerful. That phrase alone is so incredibly powerful. If you start adopting this, becoming what he says to become is something which will change my life for the better.
If you do not have the discipline to dedicate yourself to anything, you are going to fail and be crushed by the people who can.
I will be crushed by competition. It's very true. I've seen it done. Go to university, try and work as little as everyone else works, and you're gonna see that everyone will beat you if you work hard, spend no time wasting short-term entertainment. You will become number one. You can beat even the genius in that university class. You can beat anyone. To succeed, you must suffer, and that's discipline. And it's a very powerful way of saying it.
If you only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you're never going to be as strong as the people who go to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym.
That's true.
That is a reality of life. So, I train every single day. I've actually heard from some people saying, you overtrain. And I explained to them, one, I don't believe in rest. Secondly, I don't train because I want to get bigger. I train every day because it is difficult to train every day. It hurts. I don't want to. I wake up and I'm busy. I have other things to do. I don't feel like doing it, so I...
So you see there, I am getting advice from someone who trains because of the pain it gives instead of training for the results. This is a complete extremity. My whole surroundings and everyone I know trains to get a better physique. Everyone I see at the gym is only there to get a better physique. If you could choose a better physique with a click of a finger, just like that, everyone would do it. But it's not that simple. You have a man here who is saying that he goes there just for the pain. Why is that?
I force myself to do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that I know I'm the kind of person who can do what he doesn't want to do when it needs to be done. I am that man. And it's more of a mental exercise than a physical exercise at this point. How can you ever outcompete me if I can force myself to do the things I don't want to do and you cannot? Discipline is absolutely essential for success, and you need to get very comfortable and very used to the idea of understanding that on your path to greatness.
So I'm sorry for pausing that much, but it's so incredible. Like, everything to cover and everything he says has very deep meanings if you adopt it as part of your mindset. This is obviously going to push you to become better. So he says that if I feel pain, my body will subconsciously understand it as success, because when I'm going to the gym for the first time in ever, I'm going to go there, I'm going to suffer, and the first day is going to be the worst day of your entire journey, the worst day. However, when you're there for like 3 to 6 months, you're going to be there like, my biceps hurts. That's good. That's good news. If they didn't hurt, that would be bad. And it's that simple. And imagine adopting this with everything. The amount of time you put on working for a business, if you put more time and you suffer more along the way, if you find obstacles and they frustrate you and then you can't find a solution and you end up finding a solution after too many days and you've wasted time, that's not going to be pleasant. That's a sort of suffering. Emery says to understand that as success, and that's going to make you want to do it over and over and over again. You go into a loop. Suffering equals success and equals improvements.
Greatness. There are going to be long periods of time where you hate what you are doing, where you are dissatisfied with the actions you must undertake, where you are tired, where you are stressed. That is why it is difficult. That is why most people won't make it. If the path was easy, everybody would walk it and it would lead nowhere. 100 people start the path, 99 fall off because it is difficult, and the one person who makes it to the end gets the gold. If all 100 made it to...
So you understand there what he just did there. At the start, he told me that I can make it, that if I try with all my will, with all my might, he's never seen someone fail. And now he says that it's very difficult. You see how he's positioned me in a way that I, in my mind, think that now it's possible. So the possibility is there. I'm going to suffer, and suffer is good because that means you're advancing and you're going to reach your goal. And now he's saying that it's very difficult and that only 1% reach there. I've listened to this. Now, after everything he says, I'm motivated more than ever because he says, you're going to suffer. Becoming that 1% is very hard. 99 of them fall off. And that's the reason why they don't embrace the suffering as much as they need to achieve their goals. Literally, I can't summarize it better than that realistically because I'm not as smart as Emery. I can tell you it's very effective to think that way.
Made it to the end and the goal was divided by 100, it wouldn't even be worth anything. The difficulty gives it value. The fact that it is difficult to do is the key component into the fact you want it in the first place. If it wasn't difficult, everyone would have it and you wouldn't want it because no one would respect it. It's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. You're supposed to think this is terrible. You're supposed to suffer and smile through the pain regardless. Discipline is the key to success in all realms as a man. And if you lack it, you stand no chance. You can give most people a roadmap to success.
So very, very true. You got to smile along the way. So why is that? To keep it long term. Because if you understand and consider pain and suffering along the way as something pleasant, something which is actually self-actualization, you will smile along the way and subconsciously treat it as pleasure and real entertainment. We started with wanting to stay home, eat pizza and watch movies, whereas I could be in the gym or I'm watching YouTube. Instead of watching YouTube, I could be working on my project, get stuck into problem solving and get my mind irritated and stuff. No, I'm watching YouTube. Actually, going through that irritation and problem solving and these problems and this type of suffering in life to become the best version of yourself is necessary, and you need to go and look for that. And if you're not achieving if you're not suffering, you're not trying hard enough. And it's incredible how you can change things around when you speak this way.
You can give them a Ferrari with a full tank of gas, and a lot of people still wouldn't make the destination because they would say the drive is too far away. Quitters, they don't have the discipline. You can tell them exactly how to do it. You can give them the mechanism to get there, but they don't have the discipline to complete the drive and end up at the destination.
Who is he talking about in this situation? You give a Ferrari to someone and he's not gonna go along the way because it's too far. You understood the metaphor. Actually, I like it a lot. He's talking about me. I used to be a quitter. Most of it has been eradicated from my mental state. I don't quit as easily as I used to. That's thanks to this explanation right here. For example, I'm not poor. I don't come from a poor family. I've been given so much help. I've had to encourage my parents to start a business, to get an app, to have 100,000 users in it, and I'm going to do my marketing through YouTube, because that's what I estimate as the most powerful tool in today's society to reach millions of people across the world. So I have cameras, computers, I have a mini server, softwares with subscriptions, clothes, I have a bed, I have food, I have a phone, I have so much stuff given to me. I didn't work for this. I didn't receive this. I received this. I did not work for this. And that I'm the one who's being given the Ferrari in this metaphor. I'm the one who's been given the car with a full tank of gas. I didn't have to work for it. All I need to do is drive along the way to its destination. All I need to do is that. And I'm not doing it because in my mind, I'm a quitter. And I know it, I see it. The first thing to do is identify it. How to change it is to change myself and my mindset so much that I find it absolutely horrible, despicable to think like this ever again. That is precisely why I listen to Emery. You can understand this yourself.
That is the majority of Earth. This is your competition. People who, even if they are told what to do, and people tell them exactly how to do it and help them do it, still quit, still fail because they lack discipline. Even me, with my monumental powers, I can't make a quitter successful. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter how easily I make it for them to succeed. It doesn't matter how compendious and concise and powerful the real world is. It doesn't matter how much I text them and motivate them, how many emergency meetings I do to try and talk to them and hype them up, how much motivation I give them. It doesn't matter what I do. If they are a quitter, guess what they're going to do? They're going to quit, no matter.
When I hear this, I think of one person particularly. I think of my mom. Like, my mom has given so much to me, right? She's also cooked for me. She does my clothes. She's given everything I have. Like, without her, I would literally be nowhere in life. He says that you can give a quitter everything and he'll still quit. It pisses me off to my core when I'm viewed as a quitter. It reminds me of who I was in a very strong way. When life is easy times create hard times, right? And I'm on that easy state where I am making it harder for me, because when things are actually close to deadline, when I was at university and I needed to get a project out, and it was a 5-group project and no one was doing anything because no one cared. No one of them wanted to pass the year either way, and I wanted to, and I had to do everything myself. And I became number 1 in the entire class. I put so much work into that. It was 2 months and a half, so quite a lot of days. And my average of work was 18 hours. And sometimes I didn't eat, I didn't drink, because of 2 minutes I would have wasted by going to the toilet, coming back to work. That was time waste. I had nightmares of problems I had to solve in my programming, my code and C programming. I woke up, took my computer out at 3 in the morning and I started coding because I came with a solution in my dream. I worked my ass off. When everything brought me against the wall, I was against the wall. I had nowhere else to go. My mindset took a whole adrenaline hit. I became unbeatable in this scenario. And right now, I am given everything. I don't have the same pressure on me as I do when I'm up against the wall. Emery is who brings it out of me. He is the person who makes sure that I don't waste time. I'm not making a nobody out of myself. I'm actually there improving and making the months and days and the weeks and the years to come count and not waste them. Obviously, the person in the Ferrari is talking about me.
No matter how simple the map is to read, no matter how fast the Ferrari is, somewhere along the drive, the sun's going to get in their eyes, and they're going to sit there and go, I don't like this is hard, and they're going to quit. Quitters are the number 1 type of people that nobody can help. If you're a quitter, I can't help you, life can't help you, God himself cannot help a quitter. So if you lack discipline, you lack the very basic building block to any type of success which exists on the planet. By every single metric which can be measured with science, you are going to stay a loser and a failure. The key is to keep training. If you train hard
So he puts it very clear, right? If I continue that path, I will become a loser and a failure. Guess what? I do not want to become a loser and a failure. So I'm going to change things. I've become so disrupted from my comfort zone that actually it has become a discomfort zone, and I'm going to do things to change it. I'm too comfortable. I need to make myself more uncomfortable, put myself against an imaginary wall and push forwards. Put in the work, not procrastinate. In this metaphor, drive the Ferrari along the path, even though the sun shoots into my eyes and blinds me. It doesn't matter. Just keep on driving until you reach the destination, and everything else will be given to me, and it has been given to me. So the hypocrisy of me not giving my all, it's absolutely unjustifiable.
Every single day, you don't have to worry about a little bit of vitamin C. It's true. If you don't train and you don't smoke, you're still going to be a pussy.
Yes.
The answer is always hard work. As soon as you are granted life, you are guaranteed death. What you do in between is up to you. You are all conscious. That could end tomorrow, that could end in 100 years. But the time between the beginning of your consciousness and the end of it is completely up to you. Training is never the wrong decision. If you're in jail, you should train. If you are free, you should train. If you are rich, you should train. If you are...
That is a very interesting way of saying things. Now he's going into the theme of hard work. He's talking about mindset. He's talking about time. He's talking about quitters. Now he's going to say, what should you do? What is the answer? Now feel so out of my comfort zone. I feel so bad with myself. What is the answer? Hard work. He's obviously talking about gym, but obviously this is applicable to any way, any metric. If it's to your work or to your family, if it's to have the better relationship or the best business or the best body, hard work is never going to be the wrong answer. Never going to be the wrong answer. You've had a business and your business failed. And your next business, you're not going to try as hard because previous one failed pretty bad. This one is probably going to fail. And it probably will fail. You will not make it in this business. Your third one might be the charm, but this one you will fail. A quitter would just quit. You need to adopt the mindset of, I'm not going to fail. This is going to be the winning charm. So adopting that mindset of hard work always being the answer, it's very important.
Is up to you. You are all conscious. That could end tomorrow, that could end in 100 years. But the time between the beginning of your consciousness and the end of it is completely up to you. Training is never the wrong decision. If you're in jail, you should train. If you are free, you should train. If you are rich, you should train. If you are poor, you should train. If you smoke, you should train. If you don't smoke, you should train. If you drink, you should train. If you don't drink, you should train. You cannot escape that hard work is always the correct decision. There is no time in any scenario when working hard is going to be the wrong answer. You should always try your very best in all things. Pain is an extremely important part of the equation. Pain is the elixir of success. When people say this bad thing happened to me and I'm suffering, I say good. It is pain which is required. It's one of the elements in the chemical reaction. If the chemical reaction requires 5 particular distinct compounds and you have 4 and you're missing 1, it simply doesn't work. Pain for a man is one of the most important elements in becoming successful. Batman is Batman because they killed his parents. If they did not kill his parents, he would not be Batman. You're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to take that pain. The worst thing that can happen to you as a man is you live a life with no pain in it. To be born into a rich family and have a nice easy life and be given money and you don't have to go to the gym and not have to train because you have bodyguards and sit around like a fuck up. You're going to be miserable and unhappy and a drug addict buying prostitutes.
So who is he talking to? Batman is Batman because his parents were killed. It's a very extreme way of saying that he has suffered a lot. He would have never become so intelligent or so strong, so rich without that incident, as harsh as it sounds. Let's say, for example, I injure my shoulder and I can't train for 4 months. I'm gonna study, and I studied so much to understand every single intricacy of the shoulder, the biomechanics, the sports science involved, every single thing. I come to the realization of, oh, it's obvious why it happened. It's not going to happen again because I know if I've never injured my shoulder, I would have never put in the time to research and understand every single intricacy of biology of my shoulder. So it comes all around pain. He's talking about me in this situation, right? He says the worst things that could happen to me is coming from a rich family and having everything being easy to me, living a good life and not having any trauma. And I have to agree that, as I said, when my back is put against the wall and everything is going against me and my deadline is now and I need to put in the work, I become so efficient, so unbeatable. As my life has no realistic deadline, I've created my own deadlines. My life is too chill, too soft. Obviously, if I had to work at a supermarket to get the money to buy my equipment that I use for the production of the videos that I will be using to reach the audience I want to reach, have worked for the funds that I will invest into an app. So if I had to work my ass off for everything, obviously I would be working more and pushing myself. I would always have my back against the wall, but it's not my case. My harsh and very, very, very hard things to put up with. Like, my dad is 86. I want my dad to see my success. I would do anything for that. Like, I'm holding back tears to really emphasize that that is one of the reasons, and I think that is a very powerful reason. I want my mom to not only see my success, but also enjoy it. I want her, if she wants to travel or anything, right? Anything you would like to do, you see, I would like her to have these things. I would like my children to have the best life possible. I want to have freedom to be able to teach them and give them as much as they need in each facet of their life. So it doesn't mean I'm going to give everything. It means I just want to be able to have the ability to give as much as I estimate to be giving at that moment in time, and me being content with where I am, feeling comfortable enough to not do anything is a very bad mindset to adopt. Having your back against the wall, it's much more powerful. Unfortunately, that's when my true unbeatable version comes out. That's why Emery offends me so much, because when I listen to him, I think he's talking about me, and I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. My boxing trainer used to hit me when I made mistakes, and I don't like getting hit. So why am I still around him? Why do I still pay him and sign up to him hitting me? Because I know that's what I need. I know that that's how I'm going to learn, and that's how I'll get better. And there will be a time where he won't hit me anymore.
You're only going to have women who adore you. You're only going to feel confident in yourself and feel happy when you've been through hell and come out the other side. The pain is required. And you'll often notice that people who are better than you are people who have suffered more than you have suffered. So, the person who is waiting for you, he requires your motivation. It also requires huge amounts of pain. So when bad things happen to you, do not sit at home and lament. Do not feel sorry for yourself. Instead, look in the mirror and say, thank you, God, for giving me one of the ingredients that is needed for the chemical concoction that is going to turn me into a superhero. Because pain is an extremely important one. In fact, it's one of the most important ones for a man.
He says, everyone who's been through pain is better than you. Who is better than me? Who do I estimate better than me? Elon Musk. How much pain, mental trauma has he gone through? How many men would have committed suicide by going through what he's gone through? If you look at his documentary, not from the media, but his personal biography, in depth, from many different people, and you try and replicate everything he's done, you will crumble in all respect. Donald Trump, at a point in his life, he's been negative $900 million. He was $900 million poorer than the homeless man on the street, financially speaking. Did he crumble? No, he didn't. Are they all better than me? They're all more successful than me. I do think that they have suffered more than me. So they're more successful than me. I want to be successful. They're better than me in that way. In all essence, it's very important to understand that suffering is what makes you successful. Suffering is necessary for success. And if things were easy, then everyone would be successful. And you're telling me that not everyone wants to be rich. That's because it's hard. Not because they don't want to be rich, but because it's extremely hard to achieve. And suffering needs to be involved. And Emery, it opened my eyes because I've never seen pain as something good. Right now, changing your mind to pain is sometimes necessary. And in my case, it's a thing that pushes me forwards.
Everything is war. All of it. Sitting in the commute without losing your patience is war. Trying to find a way to escape your slave job is war. Keeping your wife happy and your children inspired is war. Training to become stronger than before is war. It is all war. As a man, and avoid war is probably the biggest mistake that most men make, because it is impossible for you to achieve anything significant without war. Running a business is war. Running a hotel, running a restaurant, running an online company, it's war. Training is war. Life as a man is war. You need to wake up and view it exactly as what it is. Everything I want, other people want. Everything I desire, other men are trying to get. This is a war, and I must outcompete them. That is the best possible mental model you can have. Even in jail, it was a war for who could stay most calm, a war who could control their mind the best, a war for who could suffer the least. That is war. I was surrounded by people who lost their minds and I refused. It was a battle and I was successful. Life in and of itself as a man is a never-ending struggle and a never-ending battle. It is the constant of the human condition. Evolution requires pain. While others complain that they do not feel happy enough, I'm happy I'm struggling. I don't want to be happy. I want to be great. This is the beauty of life.
Now, he's going to go into a different theme. Now he's talking about hard work. He's talking about competition, going around the world with that mindset. Now he's going to talk about the theme happiness.
And I was successful. Life in and of itself as a man is a never-ending struggle and a never-ending battle. It is the constant of the human condition. Evolution requires pain. While others complain that they do not feel happy enough, I'm happy I'm struggling. I don't want to be happy. I want to be great.
He's going to talk about happiness. And what is happiness in essence? He's going to talk about the different variants of happiness, those that bring you down and destroy you internally and externally, those that will destroy your life, happiness that will make you better. He's going to speak about pursuing what you should be pursuing. Obviously, he said as a main title, he doesn't want to be happy, he wants to be great. You will understand what he means by that.
This is the beauty of life as a man. Do you understand? I don't care. I'm happy to be struggling. I wanted to fight. You wanted to win. I wanted to fight. That's the difference. You're concerned with winning. I wanted to just fight. And we're fighting. That is the beauty of life as a man. To be great. Happiness is fleeting. It doesn't even matter if you're concerned only with the hedonism of happiness. You're going to drink alcohol and go to parties and go to festivals and take drugs. I want to be happy. Who cares? I want to be great. I want to be great all of the time. And let me ask you a question as a man at home, genuinely, truthfully.
If you pursue happiness through drugs and alcohol and going out, I don't like alcohol. I've never smoked. That's because my dad has been training me since I had conscience. So for me, smoking is going to go against everything I've worked for. So I'm not going to smoke ever. I'm never going to take steroids. It's never going to be something I will even put close to me. Things like that are against what I want around me, and you're the sum of the 5 friends you surround yourself with. Everything which is short-term happiness, I wanted, but thanks to the place where I lived, it's never been something I was incentivized to do or have been given the opportunity. So for me, that is going to actually bring you nowhere in life. Then what do you do? What is fun? You're going to play video games? Video games is the same thing. You're going to waste your time. You're not going to learn anything. You're going to just waste your time. So I don't go out. I don't surround myself with people who waste their time and potential. So I don't do anything fun realistically. Like the only thing fun is probably bodybuilding, being an ego sport to some extent. You need to have some pride of yourself. So pride is a good thing and ideal ego, not superficial ego. That's probably the only thing that's fun to me. Emery does push me to understand that actually, look, you need to stop that and start pursuing greatness. And you're going to see why.
Would you rather be a loser who's always smiling, a happy loser, or would you rather be a stressed winner? Because I'll tell you something about winners. Most of them are stressed.
We are stressed.
We're stressed. Putin is stressed. Genghis Khan was stressed when his messenger turned up after a 4-week ride with updates from the battlefront of Iran. I'm sure he was stressed by what he read. Even if it was very good, even if it all looked fantastic, he started to feel stressed. Okay, well now maybe I need to go to Iran. How long is it going to take me to get there? Maybe we need to send more horses. Maybe we need to colonize Iran. He felt stress because the beauty of life as a man is to be great. So you have to sit here and ask yourself, do you want to be a happy loser that's insignificant? Nobody knows you exist. Women don't respect you. Men don't respect you. Nobody cares if you live or die, but you get to smile all the time. Or do you want to be one of the most important people on the planet with a little bit of stress? I am brilliant because I've decided to be brilliant. And if I just
that was fast. Reverse that, because that was very important, I think.
Respect you. Men don't respect you. Nobody cares if you live or die, but you get to smile all the time. Or do you want?
So you're nobody. No one respects you. You get to smile all the time, but no one respects you. You're like a no one. For me, yeah, you can obviously see people, they are respected and they just don't want to do anything with their life. Some people in different areas of the world are just like that. It's not about religion or beliefs or culture. It's realistically about your mindset and your mental state and what you estimate as important or not. Some people think that family life is important and they don't need to get rich to achieve it, and that's their type of success, which is perfectly fine. I prefer to be the person suffering and having an incredible life and become great than being a nobody.
You want to be one of the most important people on the planet with a little bit of stress. I am brilliant because I've decided to be brilliant. And if I have to sacrifice happiness to be brilliant, then that's fine. You know what the great thing about it is? You know it's amazing what God gives, how the whole world becomes full circle? If you stop caring about being happy and you start caring instead about being great, guess what you end up being?
Great.
Along with great.
And you know what? Yeah,
Happy! You end up happy if you forget about happiness and try to become great. You will never be successful if you're concerned about being happy, so forget about it.
So if you don't pursue happiness, if you just suffer your way along this journey, this path, my path, I want to have an app with 100,000 users in it. Just imagine the lifestyle I would be having. Just imagine how happy my mom would be, how happy my dad would be, how happy my sister would be, how happy my partner would be, how happy my future kids would be, how happy every single person would be around me. That is important to me. Imagine that. Now imagine if I was just doing nothing with my life. Like, there's nothing that's gonna beat the amount of satisfaction you're gonna get and pride you're gonna get and self-actualization you will gain. Imagine you reach that level of echelon, you will inevitably feel happy. This is happiness. If you think you're happy doing nothing with your life, just working a 9 to 5 and earning just the bare minimum, just to be able to afford your rent and electricity, for me, greatness is what gives true happiness. And pushing through the worst, someone telling you to do a business that's not gonna work, but you damn well know and you got proof that it will work because so many people have done it. And so many people have done it wrong. So many people have done it right. You know how to do it right. And you know exactly how to do it. It's just a matter of time and money. And you have it. So you will inevitably get it done with. You're going to inevitably become happy at the end of that. You will achieve greatness. And by law, by definition, you will become excruciatingly happy. That much.
I like to consider myself a wise old man. And I'm trying my best to encourage and instigate a revolution amongst the youth where men take absolute self-accountability and they believe in themselves and they take responsibility for absolutely everything. As a man, you are most formidable if everything is your fault. If it rains outside and you get wet, that is still your fault. Can you control the rain? No. Could you have brought an umbrella? Yes. You need to blame yourself for all things, the good and the bad. And by doing this, you take absolute self-accountability, which allows you to build a mental model in which you will find solutions, 1. 2, avoid trouble because you know that anything bad happens to you is your fault. And 3, be the most fearsome competitor possible because we're living in a very competitive world nowadays amongst the elites. The people who understand that you're living inside of a fish tank are trying very hard to get out. And
so he says that everything is your fault. And adopting that mindset, it's very hard. I'm going to tell you that right now. Understanding your weaknesses, like for me, everything be given to me and still finding hypocrisy in the irony of still finding justification to procrastinate, waste time, and not become the best version of myself just because everything is being given to me and I'm comfortable enough with everything I have right now. And just the fact that I'm not a miserable life, I'm not going to push myself. If ever I find something which is not going my way, it's my fault that I'm not at the place I want to be right now. It's my fault if I haven't started sooner with my project. It's my fault if I failed an exam. It's also my fault if I succeed. It's my fault completely, and it's thanks to me if I completely become utterly wealthy, thanks to everything I've put up with and taking up the responsibility of my actions. It's fully my fault. Adopting this mindset is very hard. I mean, really thinking that that is reality and brainwashing and hypnotizing yourself to believing this, that it's your fault and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't deal with it and it's something you need to cope with and it's very hard to do.
And you have to make sure that you can outrun some of them if you want to escape. There's an age-old adage: if a bear is chasing a group of people, you do not have to be the fastest one. You just have to be faster than the slowest. The slowest person is going to die. So as long as you're ahead of the majority of people, you stand a very good chance of avoiding slavery.
And now, You are a fish in a fish tank wanting to leave the fish tank. So what is that fish tank? Let's say the most prestige position in the system is becoming a president. If you want to become president of America, you're going to earn $400,000 a year in salary. Is that a lot compared to private businesses, private entrepreneurs? Is that a lot? Number one earnings in a system, in the fish tank, let's say, is that much. Only few are able to reach that position. Very few do. Everyone else needs to share what's down the ladder.
Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear. As enemies attempt to attack your energy and lower your vibration, understand this: power is untouchable. Power may notice, but it doesn't care. Sometimes power is simply not giving a fuck. Being a powerful man isn't always about furious anger and instilling fear, meaning sometimes it is. You need to retain the capability to instill fear with furious anger.
So, not giving an F. You don't care about what others think. You don't care about anything that's gonna put you down. If you are in a path and you see something you see that is now putting you in a state of doubt, that you now want to doubt your own project and you don't think is the right way to go, and now you're sort of quitting and you're giving up, having the ability to not care, to not give an F, that is an extremely solid and strong shield that you should adopt, and that will help you push further. The job is never done until it's done 100%. And you start a project and you did 90% of the work and you didn't do the 10% of it. That's not finished. You haven't done it, and that's not justified to stop. And you need to have the ability to not care about what others think, be realistic and put things in perspective and question, but always be slightly optimistic. And every single billionaire interview that I've been to, most of them have said that you need to stay realistic but optimistic at the same time. You can be as pessimistic as you can if you're able to, but never enough for it to actually tear you down and destroy your mindset and your project eventually with it. So you want to keep up and stay in the game long enough until you get it 100% done.
A man who cannot do that is not a man. It is one of the cards you need to have in your deck. However, more often than not, when you're in a true position of power, you will play the alternate card, which I'm describing here as simply not caring. How can you not give a fuck about things? So I'll tell you what, if you're filthy rich, and you have a strong network of people around you who you trust, and you have a good family, and you have beautiful children, you have women who love you, and you have beautiful supercars, you live with your best friends in a compound, you have armed guards, and you're proud of yourself, and you're strong, and you train hard every day, and you're monumentally successful, and all of your dreams come true, and if you want something, you can instantly snap it up. You want a Pagani, you want a Bugatti, you want a $25 million apartment, anything you want, you buy. It's very easy to not give a shit about the opinions of people who don't have one fraction of your success. And what these people are trying to do is drag me, I'm using me as an example, but
so it's funny because it's true, but it's funny because it's so ridiculously obvious. It's so obvious, but you're like, I'm telling you, it's obvious when you're listening to it. But when the time comes and you need to put it into practice, that's when it's very hard to apply. Because, for example, you're putting your product in doubt, your project in doubt, and you want to close down the thing, the idea. You had last week, you had a nice idea, you loved it, you did a plan for it, and then on the second week, something comes in your life that you're like, actually, I'm just not made for this, I'm not cut out for this. Something destroys your flow and you don't break through. So you give up, you're a quitter, and you become a loser and a failure. You need to be strong enough to absorb the information in a very constructive way, to be able to modify the idea, but never to say, I'm going to do nothing, I'm going to destroy it, I'm going to start from zero, I'm just going to work for someone and do whatever to just survive. That is not the way, and being able to not care about what people say is very, very hard and difficult.
But we can also use it for you. When you have true power, they're trying to drag you down. They're not trying to elevate themselves. They're trying to drag you down. which is a very different thing. Because it's amazing how God rewards those who are trying to build and create and elevate, and how it punishes those who are simply trying to destroy and be spiteful and negative. And these people are going to dedicate hours and hours and millions of hours of their life towards a certain cause to try and drag people down who they cannot affect because they're already too powerful and too large. And they're wasting their own human experience, and they're not progressing or advancing themselves in any way. They will stay brokies, and we will stay rich forever. So the lesson here is that you need to get to a position where ignoring people is a move in which you're guaranteed success. You can ignore people completely and they are benefiting you. And that comes from a position of power. And I think a lot of you at home right now, you may not be in our position, but if you're already working hard, you're already going to the gym, you're already training, you make sure that you're getting as much muscles as possible, as much money as possible, you're dedicated, you don't sleep in, you don't waste your time, you don't smoke weed, you don't play video games, you're focused on trying to become fantastic as a person. You can just ignore that girl. That girl who broke your heart or cheated on you, just ignore her. The most powerful move you can make is ignore her. Yeah, you could yell at her. Yeah, you could try and make her scared of you, blah, blah, right? That's not going to work. The powerful move is just to completely ignore her because you're on your ascent. She is likely on her descent. She likely...
He's still in the theme of not caring and showing you're a person of control and showing power. It's in a way showing silence. And obviously that's one of my weak points. It's very hard for me not to care. Emery, being a very smart gentleman as he is and proved to be along all of the hundreds of hours of videos I've seen, he's obviously says things in a way that offend people. But as you can tell, he does tell people to calm down and never hit a girl, never lay your hands on someone, because that's not going to bring you anywhere, and that's not what a true man does. And being able to understand this when you're a person who's going to absorb yourself with suffering, seeing the world very differently, adopting the mindset of a G mindset, it can take the toll on you, and you can feel emotionally like charged, and you're not releasing that anywhere. Be part of that negative energy and taking the toll on you more, and you reacting to that is not going to be efficient, an optimized way of thinking through having the best results and conclusions out of every situation. And as I said at the start of this video, I'm a very lonely person. So adopting this mindset is actually incredibly important.
Has no intention of improving herself, no intention of becoming richer, no intention of becoming better looking. Time is against her. As she gets older, she's going to lose her looks. You're going to continue your ascent, and she's going to have to watch you for the rest of her life be the man that she could have been with that she's no longer good enough for. The best thing you can do is simply ignore her. That is the powerful move. And it's the same with also men. It's like...
So I would like to talk about that in school with the girls. From my point of view, I don't know what they thought of me. It's very ambiguous. I don't know if they were disgusted by me. I've been bullied from being too muscular and being called disgusting. Do you understand what that feels like? If you think if a person cries after they're being called fat, just imagine if being fat was painful and a horrible process and you're being called that. Imagine I go through all this pain and suffering at the gym for years, and I go to school and the girls look at me and tell me how ugly I am or how it's disgusting having so much muscle, which in real perspective, I don't think I was too muscular. Without showing off, I do estimate myself as being someone who was physically active enough to be able to have some sort of respect. You would have said it's jealousy, right? But a girl is never going to be jealous of a man's body if they're straight. So unfortunately, I am someone who has had a very harsh process in getting positive attention from girls in my teens and stuff. So it was very hard for me to understand, like, look, you're just disgusting at their eyes and there's nothing you can do about it. You're not good at talking to girls. All you have to show is your physique. You're not socially appealing because you're just weird when you talk socially with other people. Your reality is different from theirs, and the things that they find stupid and funny, you don't find those things funny. Don't be someone else for attention. In this case, having success and becoming great and achieving greatness is something so important, because as weird as it sounds and insecure as it may sound from my part, if there's a school meetup in a few years and I'm the one turning up as the most successful person out there, I was always the person who was expected to fail. So for me, Emery says having success is the best revenge possible, or the best win, now that you have no more weaknesses. And now they have more weaknesses, because everything they don't do and all the work they haven't put up with that I have put up with, now it's going to outshine them, and you're going to see that it's going to take the toll on them, and you're looking at the reflection of who you wanted to be. But actually, this person who you estimated as inferior or just not able to even scratch the surface of what you were capable to do, actually beat you, and you don't feel good about it. And I think that is an incredible victory to have, because some people just want the worst out of you, and being able to become what they want to be, it's the best win. Not insult them, not assault them, just be who they want to be, and show them the failures that they were and that they were destined to be with their mindset. It's always about mindset, and mindset is what makes winners and losers. It's not A grades or B grades or C grades. It's always mindsets. Those who have a top G mindset do beat generally. And I'm not saying those superficial people. I'm saying those people who really adopt it in an ideal way, a realistic way, and not show-off way, will actually beat the A-grade students all the time who don't have it. And that's a fact.
It's not even a gendered argument. There's men who want to be your friends right now, who wanted to be your friend, and they did something wrong to you. And if you're on the right path doing the right things, karma, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to teach them a lesson for simply failing to be a good person to you while they had the chance. But when you have a whole bunch of money, you take care of the people you love. And that's the masculine prerogative. And even my brother and I, anyone who's been loyal to us, who's on our team, we monumentally reward. And everyone who ever displayed cowardice or sold us out or made mistakes massively regrets it, because they see how well we treat the people who are close to us. If you lack somewhere.
So that's very interesting. Sorry for posing that often, but I would like to emphasize what he just said. At university, first year, when I was a bad student and I did not know everything and anything, because I never did coding ever, and everyone had 2 years of coding before me, and I was completely left out. I asked for help. No one wanted to help me. But when I was the best in the class, that's when everyone wanted to help me out. That's when everyone offered me their help, and I don't need it then. I needed it before, and none of you wanted to do it before spontaneously or even by me asking. And later on, you would do it not only by me asking, but even spontaneously. And Emery obviously, again, emphasizes it, and you can very frankly relate it to your own life if you observe things around you with caution. It's a very good way of seeing things and justifying the mindset you need to adopt.
Excel somewhere else. Counter your weaknesses by honing other capabilities. If you're ugly, become filthy rich. If you're poor, be as strong as an ox. Life is unfair.
That's it, right? If you're ugly, be filthy rich. That's true. If you're ugly, you're not going to have the same attention as you would. I don't say you need to love someone by what they have. I don't think you should love someone just by one thing. Love someone, it's a whole. If you love me, it's because of my personality. My muscles are a huge bonus, and you obviously love me more when I'm a big, strong individual and a very attractive individual at best. And if I am above that, bringing financial freedom, it's not about the car. The girl doesn't care about the car. They care about what it symbolizes for them, being a very good life you will bring them. It's important to understand that everyone loves you by the whole of you, of who you are. And who you are, it's if you have a good body, you've worked for it, and that's part of who you are. If you've got money and a good business, you've worked for it, and that's part of who you are and the lifestyle you're having, because It's literally the bubble you're in. And if you have a good personality, that's your way of how you inherited that personality through your DNA or even environmentally. That's part of who you are or what you've learned to be through life. For me, my childhood has dictated my personality a lot. Everything I've analyzed through my life, Emery has been part of that transformation.
The primary focus of your energies is to balance the books.
And there's two different ways you could interpret that. You can, obviously, increase the attributes that you are lacking. If you have the ability to train, because a lot of people don't. Some people are born without arms and legs, but you, with 2 arms and 2 legs, are sitting at home jerking off the Pornhub, flabby and fat. If you have the ability to train, you should be doing it. But also, there are some things that some people are just better at, and you can counteract that problem by teaming up with people who compensate for your weaknesses. People who are strong in areas where you are weak, and you team up with people where you are strong in areas where they are weak. I don't think between the people in this house and our group of friends, we lack anything.
Correct.
Anything.
I'm a lone Rambo soldier. That's not what Emery, my mentor, recommends, but it is how it is, and I don't have a better option, right? So yes, I'm born with 2 arms and 2 legs, so I have absolutely no excuse, and I need to push forwards. Yes, if I had someone who had what I esteem good enough, that would have been amazing, but I don't find anyone who knows enough about lighting, who knows enough about cameras, who knows enough about editing, who knows enough about fitness, who knows enough about marketing, who knows enough about software developing, that is willing to do it for free and committed to work with me and my skills that I don't have right now, but I am working on refining to become the best at what I want to do for my business. So that person does not exist in my circle. So yeah.
Literally anything. We can sit as a group and have a conversation about anything with anyone in the world and give useful insight and change people's lives for the better, because although I am not perfect, our team compensates one for each other.
And that's the point of brotherhood. So
sorry for posing that often again. I know. But Emery, I'm telling you, he is not very competent at everything you see him do. He is a good speaker, but if you knew how little he knew about video editing, you would be shocked. And how can someone, one of the most influential men in the world, and one of the most researched men in the world for a few, I think it was months, to be so small in the world of knowledge of video editing, of filming, of lighting? He didn't care about any of that. He didn't care about the angles and the storytelling. He didn't care about he didn't study anything of that. And he wasn't going to do it. He delegated that to other people, and those people were good enough to achieve what he need to bring out the message, but it still was a bad team in my opinion. Now he's got a good team, I think. Emery was not competent at all in one of the things that I would estimate that required a lot of competence in certain abilities to be able to do what he did, but he didn't have it and still made it. I can't believe it. It's incredible how someone like that can do that. It's incredible. Yes, if you have the team, it's going to be easier, but if you don't, that's not the end of the world.
So excel in one area if you lack in others. I have people say to me, Andrew, I'm short. What do I do? I'm short. Okay, God made you short. Fine, good. Doesn't matter. You can't change it. What you can do is become as strong as an ox and become filthy rich and monumentally important and extremely influential. You can do that. People say, I'm poor. You should be strong. Oh, I'm strong, but I don't have any money. Okay, then teach others to be strong.
Yes.
There's always a way you can take your advantages and use them. And by teaming up with other men, other people, you can build a team in which there are no weaknesses. So if you have a disadvantage, you also have somewhere God has given you a distinct advantage over others, and it is your duty to excel in that realm. It is your duty to become so monumentally influential and powerful within that specific criteria in which you have the capability to be brilliant, that your weaknesses no longer appear because they can be simply overshadowed by your network or overshadowed by your absolute competence by constructing the correct mindset.
So he says like your weaknesses need to be overshadowed from your network or your absolute competence. In my case, I have no network. My business is a solo Rambo, so only going to involve extreme competence. And with that comes extreme suffering, and everything he spoke about in this video relies all together, and if you miss one thing, it all crumbles. No, you need to have everything in place. And yeah,
you can be in the exact same scenario you're currently in, living the exact same life with a different mental model in which you view the world, and you will not only feel more powerful, you will be more powerful, you will achieve more amazing things, you will be greater, you will be happier with the same car, the same woman, the same house, the same income, the same everything, but your mind changes the lens in which you view the world. Lenses change things. Rose-tinted glasses, perhaps dark glasses. You can put glasses on, change the lens, and you can view the world differently by changing how your mind is constructed and put together and the way you view the world. That is the point of mental Aikido.
To conclude, that's the end of this episode. You can really tell in general, this is who Emery is. This is who he is. This is why he's famous. Realistically, it's not because of all the hate. That's part of the engine that propelled him to be out there, ask questions, and who he truly is. This is what you gain from him. It's nothing wrong. You don't harm anyone. You're only realistically harming yourself, but in the long run, it's for the better. You're going to have the best results possible and achieve what is truly called real happiness. Thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you next time.